I'm here in Arizona, a citizen of Arizona. So I have a vested interest in what's happening here. I just found out that, sort of got in mind that Arizona is the place where the most illegals cross in the United States. Because they come across the Tucson section. And they come into Tucson, and then it's only 129, 30 miles on to Phoenix. So the California fence keeps illegals from going through there pretty well. And Juarez is built, there's a fence in that area that keeps them. So they figure that Tucson gets the most in the United States. And that's why we have a problem here, a bigger problem than any other state in the Union. And now we got everybody seems to be very concerned that we're going to do racial profiling. So black leaders are talking about it, and they can't seem to accept the fact that police officers are not supposed to do racial profiling. They think it's going to happen anyway. And all they're going to do is, what they've been instructed by the law is to, if someone is breaking the law, is the only time that they can ask for their ID. And since 1940, there's been a law in the books that if you are an illegal, you should carry your green card or your papers with you, so that if you're a citizen, you don't have to prove your citizenship. But if there's a suspicion that you are an illegal, then you don't have the proof. You can be detained for that reason. And everybody is, well, it's the reason why it's causing so much problem is it hasn't been enforced, even though it's been on the books. And now Arizona has passed this law, the same law, just a little bit different, but they're going to enforce it. And the law enforcement wants to enforce it. They die to enforce it just because of all the trouble and all the breaking of the law to do with illegals. And there's kind of a misconception from people in other states or activists or so on that all the people, the illegals coming across, just want low jobs like picking onions or apples or something, and they're not crooks. Well, there's quite a lot of people that don't want to go near an onion, or they don't, they're just like anybody. There's people that don't want to do that kind of labor, and if they can make money running drugs, they're going to do it. They're going to, and we have the law-breaking illegals that have caused so much trouble in Arizona and been responsible for 80% of the shootings of law enforcement officers, either wounding them or killing them.
You say 80%?
Yes, 80%. That's the recent statistic that came out in the paper. Now, other people quote the statistics. Statistics can be taken and nobody has to say, they can just ignore this. Well, I knew very well, because here in Arizona we have a habit of, if there's a major crime, if there's a big wreck on the freeway, who did it? And if an illegal did it, didn't have any insurance and didn't have any driver's license, or it was expired or whatever, you note that down in your mind. And you just automatically, well, was he an illegal? And if he was an illegal, you just get a little bit madder because he's here illegally and he's breaking the law and he's tearing up the countryside. So, and people who are defending minorities, they can holler and yell and think that you're racial profiling and you think you suspect. But if you're keeping track of the crimes, you know that illegals are involved in, you know what crimes they've been involved in. And you know how much it has cost the state to deal with the criminal aspect, with the drug running, the drug trafficking, all that has to do with that. And I lived 20 years in a Mexican district, and I'll never, ever forget or probably get over the violence in that neighborhood, mainly caused from illegals have to be assimilated somewhere, so they're going to Mexican neighborhoods. So these neighborhoods are always inundated with illegals. Well, people get mixed up with them. They're, you know, and so they don't want to see them, you know, they help them. But it still doesn't matter. They are stressed and strained. Citizens that have been here a long time have been very stressed and strained with illegals, so many illegals coming in the neighborhood. They may not complain about it, but they would probably welcome the fact that if more were deterred from coming here, because there's too many coming into their neighborhoods. They've kept their neighborhoods like that, like I experienced on the west side, violent for too many years. So whether they're going to say anything or not, they wouldn't dare say anything because they're living right in the community where there's people who feel very passionately about illegals. And they want, you know, they're helping them, or they're married to them, or I mean, they're living with them, or some have some very intimate tie to them.
How about knives and guns?
And they may be involved in the drug trafficking
themselves. Knives and guns.
Yes, knives, guns.
Somebody threatens you with a knife.
Well, yes.
You might think secondly about, well, should I go to the police? I don't know.
Heavens no. Heavens no. So we can't expect our legal Mexican citizens to complain about all the illegals in their neighborhoods. They're not going to do it because they're afraid to do it. There's too many guns.
Right.
There's too many guns. There's too much. You know, it wouldn't be healthy.
They say they don't like them, but they don't. It's just basically stuff.
I would say they wouldn't dare say.
Shot, killed.
Say, you know. So it's not. You know, they're not going to lead the way to stop. It's got to be law enforcement. It's got to be the governing body. And I think that's exactly what's happened. That is good is the governing body of Arizona finally got together enough to say, we're going to do something about it. And this is serving notice on the president, on Homeland Security, who was once our governor, knows what the problems are here, that they've got to do something. If they don't want Arizona to take steps, then they've got to do what Arizona wants to see done, and that is keep the people from coming over here. That would be the best place to stop them, is right at the border, so they don't come here to get settled down. They don't decide they're going to live here. Then the idea of turning them, pushing them back is more traumatic. It would be less traumatic if they never were allowed to get here in the first place. If there was enforcement of how many illegals we can absorb in this country, or let them go, and then we have what amounts to an invasion from another country, an illegal invasion. That's what it feels like in Arizona. An invasion that is eventually going to branch out and affect all the states, and is already doing.
Well, I sure hope this doesn't work out, because I don't see anything on this camera.
Oh, well, let's see now.
I hope this is not working out. I mean, really.
Let's see now.